In that case, if there are no objections, I'll take it over temporarily. First item is the Pledge of Allegiance. We could all stand and have the Pledge of Allegiance.
The flag.
I pledge allegiance
To the
Flag
flag
of the United
of the
States.
United States of America
and
and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation,
one nation,
God,
under God,
Under God.
with liberty and
with
justice
liberty and
for all.
justice for all.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. So being still not here, all right. Approval of the minutes. They've been sent around. Did everybody get a chance to look at them? I did. I didn't see any problems.
Motion to approve.
Is there that was John?
Motion to approve, Fillmore.
Yeah.
Yep.
And did Justin seconded?
Second.
I think Justin seconded. Okay, John moved and Justin seconded. If there are no, is there any discussion, any changes? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, looks like it's carried unanimously. Chairman,
Well, I think I have to abstain, right? Because I wasn't here.
Yeah, Fillmore forgot that part, Happy. And you don't have to, but
No, I don't. The Board of Ed, you had to, so.
yeah, well, you're right. Okay,
it's
next
better that
Next up is the chairman's comments. We'll defer that until Jean comes on board. Then we have the finance member comments. Any of you all have any words of wisdom to give to us? Nope, hearing none. Any citizens' comments? Lauren, does anybody raise their hand out there?
No one has their hand raised.
Okay, do we have, how many? Okay, I see we do have a number of participants watching. So if there are no citizens' comments, then we'll move straight to new business, which is the update from the Scranton Library on the building status and operations.
Good.
I see we have Sonny Scarpa and Nicole Wiles from the library. So the floor is yours.
Hello.
Hi, Sunny.
it's Nicole.
Hi, Nicole.
Nice to see you guys again. I believe Rick Davis, our treasurer, is also on the call. So if you can make him a panelist, he may want to, I don't know, he may be able to answer questions better than I can if anything comes up. So I am here to give you a year-end summary for the last fiscal year, and then I can give you a bit of an update since we just finished the first quarter of the current fiscal year. So starting with last year, in a let's call it an unusual year, I'm happy to say that we closed out the fiscal year very well. So operating expenses exceeded our budget by only $18,935. Operating income exceeded budget by $42,265. Thank you, Jude. And this is something I want to give credit to the board and especially the development committee for working really hard on this. They exceeded their fundraising goal by $28,128. A lot of hard work went into that.
Nice job.
Yeah. We also did receive more income from grants than expected. It exceeded budget by $17,550. Phew. So moving on to this year. After the first quarter, I'm happy to say our current fiscal year forecast is on target for the end of the year. We continue to update that forecast as things develop each month. So accordingly, we expect that our first normal year of operations in the newer, bigger facility will be on budget at the end of the year. As I mentioned, we update this continually as we get new information. And one update to the forecast that I'm excited to share is that the Scranton Library Friends resumed their book sales over the summer and have now made an additional pledge beyond what was budgeted. So that's really good news. They're one of our big supporters. And then on the operations side, I'm excited to let you know that we're expanding our Saturday hours. So we have been open from 9:30 to 1 p.m. We have been working hard to hire additional staff at very small part-time hours and get everything in place. So starting October 30th, we will now be open until 5 p.m. on Saturdays, which means not only will it be more convenient,
Come on Saturdays?
9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Saturdays.
Super.
Yeah, which not only makes it more convenient for families and working adults to stop by if they're not able to do so in the evenings, it also means that we'll be able to offer programming on Saturdays. Our programming has been really, really popular. We've been getting a lot of feedback from the community that it's an important way they've been able to continue connecting with people while that is more difficult in some other settings. And so to be able to offer that on the weekends when even more people will be able to access that community resource is really exciting for us.
I think that's going to be a great news to the community. I think that's excellent. We've been waiting for that.
Yes, sort of the last piece of the puzzle to kind of get us back to normal. So it feels really, really good. And that's it. That's it. Yeah.
All good news.
I know,
Good
such a relief
news.
to be
Nicely
delivering
done.
good
Nice
news.
to hear about
Yeah.
Saturday too.
Well, thank you, Sunny. That's very good. Anybody have any questions for either Sunny or for Nicole or for Rick?
Fillmore, I have a comment, if that's okay.
Sure.
It's not a question. I went to an event there last week, about a week ago. Infinite Strength had a breast cancer event there, and a number of people were not from Madison, and they were really impressed with the library. It was a nice event, a good job. So I just want to say thanks. It was a very nice event, but it's nice to showcase the library. And the sponsor of the event said that the library was extremely helpful. So I just want to pass that along.
Thank you so much. That's great to hear. We have been having about 20 outside groups per month using our meeting space since we opened that up in August. And we're so glad that groups like Infinite Strength are making use of that. The Lieutenant Governor stopped by. We were really excited about that. So thanks,
She
John.
was
Thanks
there,
for sharing
yes.
that.
Yeah. That's wonderful. When we can bring groups from outside to our town, hopefully they'll stay there and, take advantage of some of our other assets downtown. And it's just great to build that reputation up in general. I think it's just all value added for the community, and I appreciate those efforts.
Thank you.
Okay. That's it. Are there any upcoming activities in November, December that you need to talk about, or?
Oh, I could just mention Toast of the Town. We are doing sort of a fun thank you. November and in the holiday season, we try to thank people. So December 2nd at 5:30, we are doing something called Toast of the Town. We have our annual report prepared. So we'll be handing that out, doing a really quick summary about what we're thankful for to you guys as decision makers, supporters, donors, the community members. Thank you for helping us accomplish everything that we did last year. And then also, here are things to look forward to. And then we'll be raising a glass and just celebrating a pretty good last year and an even better year coming up. So that's Toast of the Town, December 2nd at 5:30 at the library.
Great,
Okay.
thank you.
Good, thank you. That, as liaison, that saved me having to go through that later on.
Perfect.
Anytime we get to save Fillmore from talking, we're very happy about that.
Okay. Any further questions for the library? Sounds good.
We'll keep you updated.
Thank you very much.
Great to
All right.
see you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Next item 6 is to discuss and take action to approve a request from the Madison Hose Company, number 1, to move funds from the capital improvement program year 22-23 to year 21-22 to this year in the amount of $1,000 for the new R2 Madison Fireboat. And we'll have to discuss and take action on that, but we'll notice the next item down there is.
We need a motion first, no?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, I'm not moving on, please, but I just wanted to point out that the next.
Okay,
item
I'm
will be-
sorry.
Yeah, that's okay, John. Will be a special appropriation to top that off. So we'll have a discussion about the fireboat. Anybody from the Madison Hose here to talk to us?
Yeah, Phil Moore, I'm here.
Hi, Bobby.
Good evening, guys and ladies. You like me to go ahead?
Yeah, if you would, please.
Okay. First, if we can, my Lieutenant Jeff Young is on the Zoom meeting as well. If we can let him in, because he's going to do a little presentation as well, please.
Okay. Oh, there's Jeff, yeah. And I see Gene is now on.
Gene's on too.
Yeah. So Gene, we're down to number 6, talking about the fireboat. So you got it now.
Thank you, Fillmore. Good evening, everybody. My name is Bobby Kittle. For those of you who don't know me, the fire chief in Madison Hose. Along with me tonight is Lieutenant Jeff Young, and we are here to present for a replacement of our current fireboat. As you know, we've been on the CIP for the 5 years for the replacement of the boat. And this past year, I asked if we could be removed and taken off for a little bit of time to look into more options now that we have the docking system that was graciously donated by the Beach Club. Now that we have that option and those floating docks there, we were able to design a more efficient, working and safe boat for our members and the community and public that are out on the water. What we are looking at is a 2006 Mission Marine 338 hull. It's aluminum, durable, long lasting. There's waterways on the side to help load victims in more easily. Fully enclosed cabs, which we will be able to lock all our equipment, radios, radars, all the expensive things will be locked in doors of a cabin, and it will be prevented by weather. With this, as I've said before, being on the docking system saves the fire department approximately 5 to 10 minutes of response time by not being on the rope and pulley system, which was designed at the time for our current boat. We have a 3-phase dock or 3-section dock now that's longer and capable of letting us use a 29-foot long boat. If Jeff could come on and give a little details about the cost and how it works and everything like that. And if you all have questions after that, I'd be happy to answer them.
Good evening. My name is Jeff Young. As Chief said, I'm Lieutenant for the Fire Department in charge of the Marine Division, in charge of our replacement committee also. The committee started just over a year ago, looking at options. At that point there, we had the dock. Previously, we were looking at a smaller boat, but once we got the dock, we were able to reevaluate and go with a larger boat, something more appropriate to do emergency responses on the Long Island Sound. Anyone who's been out there on a boat knows the standard Long Island Sound. You're dealing with a 2 to 3 foot chop on pretty much a daily basis, which can be challenging for the 20-foot boat we have now. So that's why we started looking for a bigger boat, trying to evaluate our options. We evaluated new boats. Everything new was at least $300,000 to $350,000. That seemed excessive from what we were looking at. So that kind of brought us to the used market. Evaluated, we talked to some different vendors. There's a company out of Florida we talked to, and then we located this boat here in New York. We went and looked at it. Everything is up to par on it. Planned for it, and it's accounted for in the 202,000 number is to take the hull, strip out most of the wiring, which would be done in-house, rewire the boat, and new electronics, new navigation equipment, radar, all of that equipment would be brand new, and also brand new engines for the emergency response. Engines are what's going to make the be the make or break item for us. So we wanted to start with brand new engines also. I believe there was a few questions. Let me just go through those, make sure I'm hitting all those items. So yeah, so the 202,000, that encompasses buying the hull, the electronics, wiring that we're going to do, and upfitting the new engines. For the life expectancy on a 2006 boat compared to a newer 2021 boat, an aluminum boat really can be a long-term item. As long as the hull is properly isolated from the ocean with zincs and also barrier coating, really you're not getting salt water in contact with it. So really there's no corrosion issues with the hull itself. So I would look for at least a 25-year lifespan on this boat, if not longer, just on the hull itself after we purchase it. So we would definitely get a longer lifespan out of it. Operating costs and maintenance, we're going to go from a single engine we have now up to a twin, but we're not adding any more systems. We're not putting a generator on. We're not putting a fire pump on. So that really doesn't add a lot of expenses onto the system. It's just the maintenance of the second engine. For any kind of storage stuff, we have an agreement with the marina where we keep the current boat in Clinton, where it's a flat rate for interior storage. And they said they would most likely be accommodating for the new boat. So that should be a negligible cost right there. Operator training, it's going to be just getting the current operators used to a larger boat, but no additional certifications or licenses are needed. The standard state of Connecticut Safe Boater Certificate handles that. I believe this year we're up to 23 calls so far. I just went back and looked. We're at 23 so far this year of various needs, whether rescues, missing parties out in the water, flare sightings, etc. So that's pretty much it. If anybody has any questions, I'm sure that between me and the chief, we can answer them.
I just wanted to make a comment. I wanted to thank both you and Chief Kittle for taking this, pushing it back on the CIT while you were looking for less expensive alternatives. And I'm glad that I really appreciate, as do all the citizens in Madison, you putting forward the effort to find that less expensive alternative that's still gonna increase the safety of not only our citizens, but also of you guys as you're out there responding to those calls. This sounds like a good product that you're getting, and you did the research to get it. So I appreciate that.
Thank you. Anybody
Yeah.
else?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll just add thank you, and thank you for answering those questions. That's very helpful. But just for transparency, it does sound like you found a great deal and done some hard work in finding it. So thank you. But just so anyone who is watching understands, we were carrying $100,000, and correct me if I'm wrong, we had been carrying $100,000 in the CIP from inception. So this is $100,000 additional that we are now looking at, just so everyone's aware of that. But as you said, it certainly looks like a good investment. So thank you.
Just a side question. When do you pull it out in the winter? Or during what time is the boat actually in the water there at the wharf?
So really, it's kind of depends on when we start getting really cold weather. We evaluate when all the other boats are off the moorings in town.
Yeah.
Kind of talk to the local fishermen, try and get a feeling from them of how much of they're still out. Really early November is generally when we average coming out. But the later we can stay in, the longer we'll stay in. So.
Okay. Then you put it back in March or April or something?
Yeah, usually end of April is when it starts getting back in.
Yeah, okay. Just curious.
Okay, so forgive me because I'm jumping in a little bit late. Jace, have we called a motion? Do you have to vote?
No, this was really a discussion.
We didn't call the, sorry.
We didn't deal with either 6 or 7. I decided that we would have the general conversation because they were both about the new boat. We would have the discussion
Okay.
about the vote, and then we would go through the two motions.
Okay, so Fillmore, do you want to read the motion, please?
Sure. Item 6, discuss and take action to approve a request for Madison Hose Company number 1 to move funds from the capital improvement program year 22 to 23 to fiscal year 21-22, that's the current year, in the amount of $100,000 for the new R2 Madison fireboat. And I will move that motion.
I'll
Second. All in favor?
Second.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Abstention? Motion carries. Thank you. Fillmore, do you want to read 7?
Okay. Discuss and take action to approve a special appropriation request for Madison Hose Company number 1 apparatus truck replacement fund in the amount of $102,000 to fund the new R2 Madison fireboat pending town meeting approval.
I need a motion.
I will
So moved.
move that.
Second.
Second.
And just for
Discussion?
clarity, again, this is not coming out of the fund balance, it's coming out of your, out of the fire truck reserve fund. Is that correct?
Yes,
Stacy, is
Fillmore,
that
that's,
correct? Yes.
yep, that's the plan.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay, all
Yeah,
in
if I could
favor?
just-
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you
for
guys.
coming in. We appreciate it. Take care. Be safe.
Can I
Guys.
say one last thing, please?
Yes, please.
Obviously, thank you all for the approval. But Lieutenant Young, today is his birthday, and he is 40 years old today.
Happy birthday. You
Happy
don't want to speak
birthday.
for it.
Birthday.
So
And he's
Bobby, are you
spending
gonna
it with
say
us.
happy birthday?
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Enjoy it.
Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
Happy
Good
birthday.
night.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Fillmore, I'm going to let you continue to read the agenda.
Okay. Item 8, discuss to take action to approve a request from the Facilities Department to close out completed projects to the master CNRE account. I don't have it in front of me, but there are what, a half a dozen or a dozen different accounts that are being closed out. Is that correct?
And this is routine. We do this every year at the end of the fiscal. Right, Stace?
Yeah, every year we do ask department heads to look at the open projects and see if they still need the funds or if we should close them into the master CNRE account. And this was Bill McMinn looked at all of his projects, and there were about 7 totaling 209,000 that he believed could be returned to the master account.
Okay.
Okay. So I need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Fillmore?
Okay, item 9, discuss and take action to reallocate funding from the CNRE Salt Meadow Kayak Launch Fund, which I believe was around $2,950, and the CNRE Salt Meadow Fencing Fund to the Salt Meadow Dog Park. And the fencing fund was about $16,000. So we're looking to move almost just shy of $19,000 from those two accounts into the dog park account.
Okay, so we need a motion.
So moved.
Second? I need a second.
Second,
Discussion.
I have a question. Is the, because I haven't been down there to look at it, is the kayak launch all finished?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
So my understanding is that this money that we're moving from the kayak launch fund is leftover money. It was that's done, and that this money is not being used for that or for any other reason right now. So that's why it's available to use for the dog park.
So that does happen when we have residual funding that has not been used. The Board of Finance has the ability then to move it. So I think that's what this is related to. Correct, Stacy?
Yeah, and of course, it's a related project. It's in the same area. 2,000 was for the kayak launch, and then 16,000, the majority of the request was for fencing. And this would be used for fencing for the dog park. So it was a related project at the same location.
Great.
Terrific. Thank you. Any other questions, comments, thoughts?
So Austin, when will the dog park, assuming this moves forward, when will we let the dogs out?
So there's still some planning that needs to take place. Planning and zoning approvals and such. But this will set us on the path to get some design work done and allow us to move forward.
And as I understand from the news, that's going to be in the front section along the post road, that piece of land we got from the state here a couple of years ago.
Yes, sir. Correct.
All right.
Okay, any other questions, thoughts, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Thank you.
Okay, item 10, discuss the review process of ordinance 20-11, the senior tax freeze. And I'll take the blame for this one, because when we were, I believe it was last month, we were looking at some ordinances, some nearby ordinances related to tax adjustments and so forth for a couple of different projects. And my eyes fell on this senior tax freeze ordinance. And at the very end of it, it says we, the Board of Finance, are required to have a review committee that will take a look at it. And I think you all saw this. It was this ordinance was sent out at the very tail end of the ordinance. It talks about that. So, Jane.
Okay, Stace, do you have any other to add to that? What Fillmore?
Sure, I can. I definitely can. Yeah. Reading the ordinance, Fillmore, of course, is correct. But I do want to just add that internally, we have been looking to review and modify this ordinance for multiple of years. And Austin, please speak up. I would say this is the third year internally. We've been meeting as a group, trying to improve, trying to make it more efficient for the individual departments, which would include the assessor, the senior center, and the tax collector. So this has been on our minds for some years, and it will be helpful if the Board of Finance steps in and kind of nudges us a little bit to make this happen. Every time we started it, we would make a little bit of progress, and then all of a sudden the deadline would come and we'd say, okay, let's wait till next year. So I think this is a good thing. And hopefully we can, talk about it. We can come back with some more information at your next meeting and then see if we can make this happen. I believe the applications are due February 1st, Austin?
Correct.
So we'd
Yes.
have to, okay, so we'd have to do it really, really quick if we wanted to modify it for this upcoming season. Otherwise, I do think that we should continue to move forward, look at it, and create efficiencies and improvements for at least the following year. And Austin, you're up if you have any more input.
Yeah, so I think also what Fillmore is referring to is there is a review after every 5 years of the program itself. So we can give you statistics and data related to the program if that's what you wish. But I think there are some efficiencies that can be made in the ordinance changes that folks in my department have worked on for a couple years, and there's some ideas how to make it easier, not only for the applicants, but for the three departments that work with the program. So we'd be happy to share that with you as well.
Yeah, so I think we need some more time with this. I know we're under the gun a little bit with the time, but I would like to hear from your department, Austin, on what you feel about this. So maybe we can set up some time and then at the next meeting, bring it up for any changes and a vote. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Madam Chair, I was going to recommend if they need someone to push them along, maybe we can have Fillmore go to a couple of the meetings during this next few weeks. How's that,
Yeah,
Stace?
because that, as we know, Fillmore can push
Wait,
people
what?
along.
Fillmore,
I
I'd be
think
happy to meet with you.
I think I said that to Austin today, didn't I?
You did.
I think it's a great idea. I would even make the motion.
So John, let's take a vote. All in favor of Fillmore
Fillmore.
being the liaison
Fillmore.
for this? Say aye.
Both hands.
Aye. Thank you.
Fillmore's in. Fillmore, we will rely on your expertise on this particular subject.
Oh, my gosh. I am delighted.
Friends
to
are
serve.
formed. There you go.
I'll get you, John.
Okay, in all honesty,
Sure
we
you
will. Let's look at this at our next meeting. Fillmore, if you would not mind taking the lead on this, and help us in the next meeting to have a fuller understanding. And if there's a documentation about what Austin's team feels should be the move on this prior to our next meeting, so we have some information, that would be great.
Okay, but I think that we would, at the next meeting, then we can take a little bit more formal approach to picking another. If you look at the ordinance, it says 2 members of the Board of Selectmen. I mean, excuse me,
Yep.
of the Board of Finance. So
Yep.
we can pick somebody else. And I'm looking at John.
Yes,
and-
I think John would be
I can't see you,
excellent
Fillmore.
compliment to you. All in favor? Aye, we're good. John, you're
Oh,
in.
my goodness. That's it, Fillmore.
Oh, that was
That was
beautiful,
good, Madam
Fillmore.
Chair.
Beautiful.
Okay, so I think we're good with
Good.
that. So we will have a further discussion that at our
Poor
next meeting.
Austin and Stacy.
Yeah, good luck, Austin, and to your team.
Look forward to it.
Excellent. Next, Fillmore, you want to read the next?
Oh, yeah, excuse me. Discuss, let's see, wait a minute. Review fiscal year 22-23 CIP committee process and the budget process. So I have no input on that one, except we're
Nope.
getting,
Stacy, where are you with that? Is there any changes that we should be aware of?
No, I don't think so. On Friday was October 15th when the first Select Women's version was due to the committee. So we did send out the letter as well as all of the schedules. We are still consolidating and combining all of the backup documentation, which should come out this week to the committee. But nothing really is going to happen until after the election in November, since all of the members, they could change. So our thought is once the election happens, we will set up the initial CIP meeting, come up with a calendar and get going from there. So that's pretty much where we are right now.
That sounds reasonable. Everyone in agreement on that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Thank you,
just
Stacy.
noted for the record that Fillmore actually said he had no input on this. That's the first time I've heard him say those words. I just, Madam Chair.
Well, I appreciate the highlighting of that comment. I would agree that at some point, I am sure he will have a comment on it. But for right now, we will accept his non-comment and know that in the future, that could change.
probably will change.
Excellent.
Okay.
Okay, next, Fillmore, what do you got?
Item 12, review the financials. And Lauren sent those out that came from Stacy. I have a couple of comments or something. I noticed that under the miscellaneous income, we got 40 grand from PERMA. That was very nice. Is that just a freebie gift of some sort?
That's that equity distribution that they do every year based on the prior year fiscal results. So yeah, that's pretty much been a consistent amount year over year. So yes, that's a very good treat that we do not budget for.
Yeah, that's great. And I also noticed that the real estate conveyance fees are looking to be in pretty good shape here. I guess everybody's trying to move to Madison and the housing prices are going up.
Which is good for us.
Yeah, good for us. And then under financials, Stacy also sent out the fund balance listing. And I guess this is, it has not been audited yet. Is that correct? But this is, we're pretty sure that this is,
I think we're in the middle of the audit, right, Stace?
We absolutely are. Yep. This is week 2 that
yeah,
they've been out here. I don't anticipate many journal entries, but so I do think that this is probably a good estimate of what I sent you all this
Yeah.
afternoon or this morning.
and note that you projected the undesignated fund balance at 8,917,000. Since then, we have passed, according to my calculations, 581 grand in special appropriations coming off of that. The big piece was that coastal resiliency. So we're down to about 8.3 million in unassigned, according to my
And I just want to add in, because of the money that we've infused into the budget process, we're going to have to do that again next year. So that just so the public is aware that we continue to use that undesignated fund balance to offset the mill rate in terms of the taxes. So we just need to keep an eye on that number, because we have to be aware that we have to fill that gap when we look at next year's budget.
Right. And I have a question for Stacy. The $1 million we put into the pension fund, is that going to be included in their ARC calculation that we'll get in another month or two?
Yes.
Okay. And it will be,
Oh, sorry. And we did put it into the town pension plan at this point in time. Yep.
and we'll be getting that ARC analysis within the next couple of months, I think.
Correct, for the upcoming budget. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Any other questions, comments, thoughts?
Okay, item 13, liaison reports and report from the first selectman. So first we'll do liaison reports. Anybody
Any
have-
liaison reports? Okay, Fillmore, first selectwoman?
Yep, Peggy?
She's not.
I don't think, yeah, Peggy's
she
not
couldn't
gonna be
make
here, I'm
it
pretty sure.
tonight.
Yeah.
Okay,
She had
Uh,
sent an email, she forwarded the PowerPoint from the selectmen's meeting introducing the revised numbers for the academy / community center. So I could forward that along. And then she talked about a timeline and how it would come to your board in more detail in November.
excellent. Thank you.
And you'll send that around to us?
I will, I'll do that. I'll do that right after we hang up.
Okay.
Thank you, Stacy.
Thanks, Stace.
Okay,
Anything? Go ahead.
I just gonna say, next up is citizens' comments.
Lauren, any citizen comments?
There are none.
Okay, excellent. Not Gus?
Nope.
Wow.
Next up
Wow.
is your big moment, Jean, to adjourn.
Motion to
So I
adjourn.
need hey, settle down.
Oh,
That's
sorry.
mine.
I thought you were
Don't jump
asking
the
for that.
gun. I don't know how many more meetings I have that. Don't take that away
Stop.
from me.
I'm sorry, let's back it up.
All right, let's set. I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Everyone have a good night. Thank